In a world where there are too many comic books to keep up with, one podcast has the stones to bring you all of your comic book needs. Week by week, book by book. One epic show. You are now tuned in to Nerd Church Radio.
And welcome to week 28 on Nerd Church Radio. Who do we have here today, guys?
Ben Dupay.
Josh Aldini.
Travis Roseberry.
And who are you?
Yeah, what's your name?
I'm me.
You're you.
Hey, me.
You.
I'm Bradley Butin. It's a wonderful, nice Saturday afternoon in the good old Des Moines.
Yep,
Dude.
and we're sitting inside talking about comics, not,
Right.
not enjoying this beautiful weather.
Brad, the beard's looking good. I like it. It's coming
Thank you
in.
It's very
much.
good,
It's coming
yeah.
together nicely. I want to
Oh,
make
yeah.
it till at least I graduate from college. Here
There you go.
In
Nice.
5 months.
No shave till diploma.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it.
I like it.
Until I get a good interview and I'm like, I got to shave.
Yeah.
I'm going for like the Jesus look right now. I'm like growing my hair and my beard out.
Where's your Birkenstocks, bro?
I know.
I was
yeah.
going to say, no togas,
Yeah,
nothing.
no,
I mean,
no, none of that yet. It's
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
come.
it's coming.
It's gonna be
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Nice.
We
nice.
got like all 4 people here today. I like
I
this.
know.
Oh, yeah.
It's
This
been
is
a
the
while.
first-
Boys are back in town.
The boys. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
but
You
technically,
beat me to
we've
it.
all been in the town.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So it'd be like the boys are back at Ben's house.
Right.
My house is a town.
Well, hopefully we have no more freakishly
Takes a village,
random
Ben. Takes a
snowstorms for March.
I-
That
I-
way,
yeah,
that way I can
There's
not have to
usually
miss
one.
any more shows. So,
It sounds like it's gonna stay nice for a while. So
I think so.
yeah.
well, I did see in the forecast for Saturday possible snow, but it's going to be like 46 degrees, so it's probably not going to do nothing.
It
so.
will be
Yeah.
snow till it hits the ground.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It was a good weekend in comics, guys.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I mean,
really good.
I mean, Green Lantern kicking the crap out of Batman, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Uh,
See, I don't know, because I went back and forth on that, and we'll get into it more.
Yeah, I know.
But I think, like, I can't give Green Lanterns a perfect rating, and I do give Batman that. So, even though, I don't know, it's this weird thing, because it's so hard for me to decide. They were both great, though.
Yeah, everything was really good.
Green Lanterns was so sci-fi, man. It was so cool.
It
Like,
was.
super old type of art. Before we give too much away, we are a spoiler podcast here at NCR.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, we are what Noah would call a Stephanie Brown podcast.
I don't like the Stephanie Brown podcast.
Oh, and I forgot.
I think we should just change that to we should just say, and we are a Stephanie Brown podcast.
Yeah, and then non-comic book fans will be like, "Who the hell is Stephanie
Right.
Brown?"
And then they're going to be like, oh, they're spoiling
If
everything.
they're-
Why did they tell me?
Yeah.
If they're non-comic
Yeah,
book
exactly.
fans, I don't know if they'd be listening to a DC Comics podcast.
Actually, there are.
Actually,
Yeah, we
I
have
know.
some non-comic book fan listeners, which is like,
Yeah.
I love the fact that we have that. So, one thing I did want to say, we are in episode 28 of NCRDC Mass, and in issue 28 of Justice League of America. Oh, I'm sorry, issue 28. The Brave and the Bold number 28 was the first appearance of the JLA, I believe.
Oh, nice.
This is getting really complicated the way I do this. I'm sticking to it, man. I'm doing it because Noah typed out 40 of these. I was thinking about it's going to be really interesting when I get to episode 1000, what happened in it. I'm just going to start saying pick an issue 1000 and find
Right.
something stupid that happened and say it.
Well, Action Comics will be into the thousands probably
yeah.
by that time. And
Yeah.
Well,
So
we're
by
big
that
three.
time, that's going to be 4 years from now for us. Yeah.
So 28 weeks, we're over our 6-month point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah.
Time flies. I can't believe we've been doing this for 28 weeks.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's awesome.
28 weeks of my life I'll never get back. No,
you don't want it back.
no, I don't. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
So
I love
answer me this. Why do people say it's always the last place you look?
Because that's you found it.
Because
then?
it generally
But, right,
is the
but I
last
mean-
place you look.
But right, I mean,
But it
why
is,
would you
you know-
keep looking for something after you find it?
That's
so, I mean,
true,
Anything
yeah.
is going to be like, and it's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, if it's your cake,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
I'm definitely getting my cake and I'm eating it.
Well, I mean,
the
I
last
have
place
ate
you
many
look
of
thing-
cakes.
I get the last place you look thing though, because it literally is always
last place,
the last place you look, because you always stop looking when you find it. I don't know. Anyway,
Why do you drive in a parkway and park in a driveway?
Yep.
Ooh.
Put garments in a suitcase.
Why
suits in a
do
garment bag?
why do hot dogs come in an 8-pack and buns come in a 6-pack? You know, these are the unanswered
It's actually-
questions of our.
It's actually
way
10 and
around.
8.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know. I'm just thinking back to like classic Ren and Stimpy
Right.
jokes. yeah.
And so once we got talking about wieners, we should probably start the comic books.
Okay.
That-
Weird segue.
I don't know. Hey, give me a break.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
I worked 60 hours this week.
Brad's tired, everybody. Brad's
Sweet
tired.
seg, bro.
He's running on fumes.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I'll start things off here. Batman number 18 with story by Tom King, art by David Finch, Danny Miki, and Jordi Belair. And I'm really surprised there's not a credit to Greg Capullo in here, because I'm like 99% sure there's a panel from one of the old New 52 Batman books, and I'll find it after I do the recap. But Bane and Batman are facing off in an epically drawn and colored battle. While this battle is happening, we get flashbacks to Bane and Batman's childhood, which is almost identical except for one thing. Batman had a rich butler to take care of him, and Bane didn't. So we see how two very similar people turned out very differently due to their life circumstances. There's even a panel that I swear I said earlier is drawn by Greg Capullo. It's from like Batman's younger years. I would think it would be from like the 0 year story arc probably, because that's like Batman's younger self or whatever. Not much else happens that's worth mentioning. It was just super well drawn and super nostalgic. I'm going to preface my review by telling you guys that this is definitely my favorite issue to come out of Rebirth so far. The way it was drawn, the parallels between Batman and Bane's childhood, and the little Capullo panel just made it like perfect for me. Yep, that's the one right there.
And the chains?
Yep.
Yep.
So the only small thing I could complain about was that not much really happened in the issue to progress the current story. But Tom King isn't really about giving like instant gratification, you know? He's all about the slow burn and developing his characters really well with nice framing devices and stuff. I'm going to rate this book, but first I'm going to play our rating system so you know what I am talking about.
If a comic book is bad, we rate it as blasphemy. If the book is good, we give our blessing. If the book is not bad, not good, but just kind of meh, we rate it as stuck in purgatory. If the book is great, we rate it as holy. And if a comic book exceeds all standards of awesomeness, we rate that book as salvation.
And that is what I rate this book, is a salvation. I believe this comic book exceeded all standards of awesomeness. That's the only way that I can describe it. There isn't a single thing I would change about it. It was perfect for me. It was like, yeah, I've seen Bane and Batman fight before. We've all seen that before. But I think it was so well drawn that it was like, holy crap, this is all, you know, it's like when you saw like Bane, or for me anyway, when I saw Bane, Tom Hardy Bane for the first time in a movie, I was like, holy crap, this is the first like live action Bane I've ever seen that I liked, you know? So I don't know, what did you guys think about this book?
I thought it was awesome. There's a couple things that like really stood out to me, and one was when like Bane basically proposed the deal to Batman, and Batman's just like, no. Bane's just like, no.
I love it.
And he just
Yeah.
like attacks him. Like, I thought that was awesome. And then like one of my other favorite parts was, I think it's the second to last page, where there's the 4 panels of Bane just standing at the gates of Arkham. Mm-hmm. And it's like dark, and then you see the lightning strike, and you see Batman in the distance, and then it goes
Batman
dark
goes
again,
in.
and then the lightning strikes again, and he's gone. Like, that was just like classic, like creepy Batman style, you know. Like, I just thought that was cool because Bane just stood there the whole time, and you could just see that play in live action almost. I thought it was just awesome.
So what do you think is going to go down with all of that? Is he luring Bane into Arkham so he can lock him up in Arkham?
I don't
Or
think
do you-
so.
Psycho Pirate's in Arkham with what's her name? The gal with the
Cillian.
blonde hair. No.
Oh no, with Gotham Girl.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
So you think something's going to go down there? Like he will reverse
yeah.
use the Psycho Pirate mask to like I don't know.
What I'm
blank
thinking,
out.
Some's
Bang.
definitely going down in Crazy Town.
yeah, the only objective I really see right now that I feel is that he's trying to draw Bane into where Bane kind of wants to go, because I think he's trying to get Bane to quit focusing on all his friends.
Gotcha.
Because that's kind of how I feel, because this is like the second time Bane's taken like 4 of his friends or a couple of his friends, you know what I mean? So that was like the only thought I really had with it, was he's like, well, I'm going to lead him where he wants to go, and then he's going to do his Batman scheming to get him somehow.
Lure
maybe.
him into the octagon.
Right, yeah. Cage match.
I do think we're in for a treat, though. Who doesn't like treats? Yeah. So no, I think we're in for a treat, because the what's the first major Bane story arc you would think of from Batman's history?
Nightfall.
That's what everyone goes to, and like Arkham has a huge like part of that story. Bane released all the criminals from Arkham, so I think there's going to be more nostalgia in the next issue, where he's going to like go into more of like you'll get lots of little Easter eggs from Night. Josh, have you read Nightfall?
I have not. That's the
you
actual
need to.
novel, right? Like it's like an actual book.
There is a novelization that Nate lent to me a while back.
Okay.
But that's a comic book.
But that's when Bane originally broke Batman's
big
back,
old,
right?
Yep,
Right.
big old thick book.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
like pretty much all I really know of it. I know Bane was huge in it, and I know that's when Batman broke his back.
Azrael comes out, and which he's in the current run right now too, in Detective.
Yep.
And Azrael's like the guy that stepped in as Batman, but he was like actually killing people and stuff.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you rate this as, there, Josh?
I didn't give it a salvation per se, but I mean it was up there. I gave it a high holy. Like I thought it was just a really good read. Like I liked the way the story flowed, and like the parallel of their childhoods. Like I thought was pretty cool. Like
yeah.
I kind of seen that story of Bane a little bit, but it was cool to see it mirrored to like Bruce's childhood. Like I didn't realize there was such similarities there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. So.
I agree.
Agreed.
I really, I don't know.
So
it hit me just right, because like I mean it was just like, well, the Logan movie for me was I gave that a 10 out of 10, 100 best comic book movie I've ever seen. I know that most people probably aren't going to agree with me on that, but
I
just
do.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it. I agree. I will say that is the best comic book movie ever made, and it's probably in my top 5 favorite movies ever made.
Yeah, I mean, it just matched my taste so well. And bringing it back to this book, this book just matched my taste so well. I really like the darker settings. I like the battle, the fist-to-fist battle with Batman, where he can't be matched. I really want to see that with Deathstroke, man. I want to see Batman and Deathstroke go at it, because Deathstroke's never been, or Batman has never beaten Deathstroke in a hand-to-hand battle, from what I've heard.
Right.
So, like, I really want to see that. I think Tom King could do well with that, but he's doing really great with this.
So, question for you. Okay, so not very long ago, there was that miniseries with Bane in it, where the name is escaping me.
In Rebirth?
Yeah.
Suicide? I Am Suicide?
Yeah, I Am Suicide.
Well, are you talking about the one where
Catwoman is like a triple agent there?
Yeah, this is a continuation of that story.
Yeah.
Okay, but why are the Banes different?
This one's jacked up on Venom again.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
At the
so-
very end
Because
of
after
Suicide.
Psycho Pirate,
Yeah.
Okay,
after Batman took Psycho Pirate,
right? Because I had thought that Bane was done with the Venom. I didn't.
Well,
he
so-
was
so-
because of Psycho Pirate.
So Psycho Pirate can tell you something and you'll do it.
Right.
So Psycho Pirate was telling Bane, you're strong enough to live without Venom, and then Bane was strong enough to live without Venom. So then when Batman stole Psycho Pirate back, Bane was like, I need Venom now because I don't have this guy influencing me.
Gotcha.
So that's why he's all jacked up
Okay.
now. or
And there
whatever.
was
And-
that.
Makes a little more
and
sense now.
Selena broke his back, and that's at the very
Yeah.
end of that one.
Yeah.
He's
He
laying on the
needed
floor.
Venom.
Venom!
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
and like
cool.
there was that chunk in there where Bronze Tiger was talking, because he took the Venom
Yeah.
shortly, and he was talking about how it eats at you from the
Right,
inside and
right.
stuff, and he was that withdrawal and stuff, and that's kind of what I gathered was it's like Bane didn't have any of that because of Psycho Pirate, and as soon as Psycho Pirate was gone, they probably came rushing back because he was like such a heavier user,
Cool.
Well, and it does get in. This book gets into another like. This is why I like Tom King so much. Is it gets into a little more of like nature versus nurture, and that sort of thought of like, are you a product of your environment, or are you just who you are? I mean, do you guys think like And do you think this is possible? Do you think like two guys basically born into the same circumstance but with different environments are going to turn out just polar opposites, or do you think they're the same person one way or the other?
I mean, it's all adaptability. I mean, you know, your surroundings make you. You know,
You think environment?
But also, their growing up was similar, but it wasn't identical.
I know, both of their parents died, but then they were both taken and thrown into different environments and turned out differently. So their environments made them who they were, pretty much.
Right. Like Bruce's, it was. I mean, Bane's was very much mental, but also like physical. Bruce's was kind of like more. It felt more mental driven to me because he really like knew what he was going for. Bane was just trying to straight up survive type of deal, you know.
Well, but
I don't know.
But Bane had no one. He had a prison and he had raw fish to eat, and Bruce had a butler to bring him food and take care of him and encourage him and give him love and care. And Bane was deprived of all that love and care. So one person was deprived of love and care and raised in a crappy environment. He would turn out to be a villain, and one person was given love and care. So I don't know. There's always that argument that I don't. You know, it's hard to think about. Like, I guess if someone's environment really has that much of an impact on who they are. You know, if they're going to become a hero or a villain.
Yeah.
Travis, what did you think of the book?
I agree wholeheartedly with Josh. I rated a high holy. I loved all of it. I wouldn't rate it a salvation. I think for the same reason it hit you, it didn't hit me. For that little tweak, that just I don't mind the dark. It's just it didn't hit my salvation meter, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was super high up there. I mean, probably one of the best titles I've read in Rebirth so far.
Yeah.
I liked Bane, seeing him back in his black and white mask and all jacked on Venom.
Super jacked.
Super
jacked.
I loved seeing that one panel where Catwoman's sitting there on the crates and she's got 3 or 4 of Bane's guys hanging upside down, and she's got I remember.
I am Cat.
Yeah. Clawed into him. No, I loved it. Great work. I'm not a super big fan on the whole slow burn thing because I'm impatient. It's like, I want to know now. Come on.
right.
But at the same time, I appreciate it. They take their time to develop the characters and the villains. So
this one just really stood out as like this arc has stood out as like an awesome like slow burn though to me. Like I mean, every issue is it just continues to build, and it's like it's never once been like an issue of, it was all right, but it wasn't great type of deal to me. It's just every time it's just like
Tom King knows what he's
good.
doing.
It's just good.
Well, and Batman is pretty much like, in my opinion, probably the flagship of Rebirth because Batman is the one that everybody's going to buy. Batman and Superman.
Well, unfortunately, Justice League, people are always going to buy that, and then that's. I mean, well, no, that's just like it sucks because it's like it's almost like DC isn't getting accurate numbers because people are just going to buy the Justice League book. Because I know you still buy it, right, Travis?
Yep, I still do.
Yeah, just because you. Yeah,
and he loves it, everybody.
No, but I wish they'd get some accurate sales numbers on that.
Yeah,
but, you know, it is what it is. Cool. So it was a great book, though. I think that if they did give us everything on up front, it wouldn't be as enjoyable either. Like you wouldn't be like, well, I want it now. You'd be like, well, it's here, I guess. I don't know. Like Tom King's really good about making me want it more, I guess, or be really like on the edge of my seat or whatever. So
cool.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So we are done with that book. Let's talk about the next best book of the week. Let's do Green Lanterns.
Awesome. All right, so Green Lanterns, written by Sam Humphries, Robson Rocca. So this is sort of an origin story of Volthoom. From his start with his mom way in the future, where they invented the travel lantern, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's pretty much the time travel lantern.
I love that part where they show the diagram of how it works, and you're just like, what the hell am I looking at? I know Travis probably stared at it for a really long time because he's an engineer.
Oh, yeah.
He checked the math. He checked the math on it.
It all checks out. It's good.
Right?
Good. I don't want to tell you how.
I agree.
It goes from there to his time spent with Necron.
Yes!
This is the first time I've ever seen Necron in a comic book, too. So.
Begging him Blackest Night, begging him to kill him.
yeah.
The betrayal from the Guardians, who he thought was his friends. And then Volthoom finds out that in order to die is what he wants to do, is that he must extinguish the light. I absolutely love this book. This was my Batman. This is my hit me in the same feelers that Batman hit Ben's. In my opinion, that the Batman couldn't hold a candle to Green Lantern's fart in this book. So
It's a powerful metaphor.
I know. I was working on it for like 10 minutes.
I don't know. I thought it stunk.
Thumbs up, knuckle bump, boom. No, I mean, man, this is just such a great book. I like the jumping around. For some reason, this one was really easy to follow for me. I didn't know a lot about Volthoom. Maybe that was probably why I liked it so much, is because I did find out a lot. And like when I turned that page and I saw Necron, I was like, oh yes, because I mean, Blackest Night is probably my favorite graphic novel ever. So
It's up there for me.
Now I have a question. Now, did the Guardians betray him, or were they actually trying to help him? He just felt like they betrayed him.
No, they betrayed him.
yeah.
Okay.
That was my perception.
See, that was
of it.
like one thing
too.
that was unclear to me. Is like it seemed like they were trying to help him, but then inadvertently they realized what they did, and then they imprisoned him after that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I want to see like the time travel. I want a time traveler ring now.
Yeah. It was just kind of hard to follow.
the time traveling Rainbow Lantern.
Anytime
and Batman's rainbow suit.
Anytime you get into the multiverse, for me,
Yeah.
it gets a little choppy. Not because I think it's badly written. I think this was a very well executed book. I think it was a high holy for me. But I still get caught on that, and I have to double back and read it again. And like it just the Batman book I shot through and I read it again. Like this one, I kind of staggered on because I was trying to understand the concepts of everything. Doesn't make it a bad book. It's just a different type of book.
I do wish instead of making him a 10 billion year old mama's boy, that they would have given him like. Is that me?
Nope. No, that was me. Sorry.
Okay. I wish they would have given him like a girlfriend. That he was with his wife or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Gotcha.
I think that would have been a little bit more like something to get you through.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, you think about someone's connection to their mother. That's like Anakin Skywalker and his mother with the Sand People too. So that I could go either way on that.
Spoilers, man.
I just said Anakin
Hey, that was
Skywalker
Attack of the
and
Clones.
Sand
It doesn't
People.
matter.
Yeah, we don't consider that a real film here.
Oh, shots fired.
Yeah. Definite shots fired there.
But yeah, I mean, this was holy for me. This is definitely my book of the week.
Cool. Yeah. I got to split the book of the week this week, I think, for me. I got to go halfway between, because I think half of us are on one side and half of us are on another. Travis, what did you think of this book?
I agree with Brad. I loved it because I've been waiting to find out more about Volthoom because we don't know anything other than
have been
he was
waiting
the
for that,
first
too.
Lantern.
So we've never heard any other backstory?
Nope.
Okay.
There's no other
Jessica
backstory.
Cruz, Volthoom ring.
That's different. That's not this Volthoom. Jessica Cruz Volthoom is from the other Earth. That possesses her ring. It's not this Volthoom. This Volthoom we've only seen in is it Brightest Day or is it Blackest Night? That little panel where he's busted in and they show him announcing that he is Volthoom with his white lantern or whatever we want to call it, travel lantern or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I loved it.
Last time I try and Google anything.
I just thought that was a travel ad for White Lantern. No, I loved the picture there. That one panel where there's like 15 Earths in like a semi-arc, and he's flying between them. I just loved it. It hit me straight on. I loved it. I followed, like Brad said, I followed the whole jumping around, and I don't know how I did that because
I know it just flowed.
Yeah, with me it did. And
I mean, like I read it 3 times.
Maybe I should have worn my power ring when I read it. I don't know.
That
was a problem.
Yeah.
I really thought that the artwork in this was a standout for me. It harkened back to like old sci-fi 60s, 70s sci-fi book covers.
Yeah.
If you've seen any of those, the really weird looking old hand painted sci-fi book covers is just so
Lost in
sci-fi,
Space.
so cool. Yeah, man, stuff
Right?
like that.
Oh,
yeah.
you know, I like it.
Or
Yeah.
Ian Kasnov, I think, was a writer back then. He was like
Isaac
the first
Asimov?
Isaac
Isaac.
Asimov. Yeah. He actually here I sent my brother like a Google image search. So like the artwork kind of reminded me of a lot of these like book covers. If you can see any of them, but they're just that old school. But yeah, I thought it was such a sci-fi book, so cool. You know, every time I asked for Sam Humphries to like elaborate a little bit on a character, he delivers. I mean, like I was like, I don't know who Volthoom is. I really wish he'd give us some development on that character. He did the same thing with Frank Leminski, where it was like, I don't know who this guy is. I wish they'd develop him, and he gave us a whole issue on Frank Leminski. And like,
Can you talk to him and see if he can maybe do some work on Justice League? You seem to have the in with him.
Another thing that I really liked about it is I'm a huge Doctor Who fan.
So you Whovian.
That's
Oh,
right,
yeah.
timey-wimey, you know, and like him going to all these different planets, helping them do whatever. It was just like, oh my gosh, I
is
I
like
want
Doctor
both of them
Who.
to be Doctor Who now.
I didn't think about that at all, but it is. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, cool. What did you rate it again?
Holy.
Holy?
I've kind of gone away with the whole high blessings, low blessing, because a blessing is a blessing. Holy's holy, whether it's high, low, you know. But
I disagree.
I've been trying.
Sometimes
that's
it's on the cusp, you know. Sometimes it's like,
It is
it
a
was
whole
good.
salvation.
If I really, really like it, but
Holvation.
can't,
Holvation.
salvation, and I got to give it a high
Holvation,
holy.
yeah.
I like
Got
that.
to.
It's a belly,
What?
What? What?
but
Are
yeah,
you,
blessing holy.
Okay.
have you
Blessoli?
taken your medication, Brad?
No, I haven't. Do you have some?
Yeah, sure. It's over in the cupboard over there.
All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah. All right, cool. So now that we are done with that, let's talk. Let's get super a little bit. Travis,
Super. Let's go super.
Okay, I have Superman Reborn number 18. Great book. I loved
loved it.
every bit of it. And I just want to go on the record here. I was right last week with my my foreshadowing and my guessing with what was going to happen. So I'm awesome.
Hold on.
No further discussion.
1 second.
Don't even play
Agree
that.
to disagree.
I'm just saying I know everything about what's going to happen. No, I don't know anything. I'm just a really great wild speculation person. So.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Superman Reborn 18. Our story opens with Mr. Oz running past his captives, Tim Drake laughing and saying, "You couldn't keep us all. Someone got out. But who was it?" And we have this awesome splash page of like this wall that somebody has carved in all these pictures of Superman's story and his S's, and it says, "Where is Superman? Save me, Superman." And I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. This, you know, that tower that they show.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something from Watchmen.
That was on Mars, and that was the.
It's Mars.
It was all red, right? It was like red dirt and stuff. Yeah. It's kind of orangey. Yeah.
Oh.
Dr. Manhattan was on Mars at the end of Watchmen. He like went there. He's like, screw this planet. I'm going to Mars, hang out there, build stuff, you know, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the home of Dr. Manhattan, or what? That's where he left off in Watchmen, anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
So Manhattan's asking Superman to save him?
I don't know. I think that Well,
we don't know. That's why I was saying last week. I think Cheeto dust, or I think you said cherry dusting, Clark.
you know
And you're
Cheeto
bad.
Dust. For the listeners, we call him Cheeto Dust Clark because he's always walking around with sweatpants and a hoodie. He just looks like he let himself go a little.
Yeah.
I like the Superboy Prime theory.
No, I don't even know what happened. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but I think Superboy Prime was thrown into the Speed Force at the end of Infinite Crisis.
Yeah, something like that.
Which
but
kind
I
of makes
think
him a
he's-
wild card right now. I mean,
Right.
They could do whatever they want with
Yeah.
him.
Well, because I read something about it, and it was like because like one of the last things that he said was like, "You ruined me," blah 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 blah, and it was almost a direct quote from when Cheeto Clark was obsessing over Lois.
Oh, wow.
know.
Okay.
But anyway,
Back in Hamilton County, the Whites are celebrating their anniversary like a happy little family, but that all changes when the doorbell rings and no one is there. Only a book, or a photo album, that is, with the word Kent on the cover. Creepy Clark stands in the distance watching, but is spooked off when Crypto shows up. All of a sudden, fires of white light erupt all over the house, but they cannot be extinguished. They're burning, but they're not really burning. They're more like they're erasing time, which was really neat. We turned to see John on fire in the middle of the front room, which was an epic piece of art right there.
Especially how he's just like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
scared.
This isn't right.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm scared.
He disappears and reappears over the next 3 or 4 panels, or pages, I should say. He just like phase out of existence, and he'd appear in the basement, and then Superman would shoot down into the basement and like try to grab him to hold him there, and then he'd disappear again. He'd be in his room or on the roof first, something like that. It was really weird. I was kind of sitting there going, "What in the world is going on? Is this like teleportation or what's going on here?" Until finally he reappears on the front lawn, and Clark's standing there trying to hold him in his super cape, and Lois is standing behind him, and he's being held by his father in his arms, and then he slowly fades from existence, along with the house and all the photos that were in the Creepy Stalker Clark's album. That Clark took him, and we are going to get him back next week in Action Comics 975, or so did Clark and Lois think.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize that the house even disappeared.
Yeah.
Until
yeah,
you
I
said
think
that,
it-
and then
oh,
I
yeah.
saw that panel. I'm like, wow, I missed that when I was reading through it. I was so excited going through this story. It was a good one.
Yeah, I was so excited for it. I rate it high holy. I'm
with you,
I'm
man.
still saving my salvations. I want to make it mean something, but this was great. I mean, not a whole lot was revealed, but at the same time, I thought it was great when I first read maybe the first page where you saw the little laughing going on with Mr. Oz. I thought it was the Joker. Because it kind of
Yeah.
I was like, what? Did he take the Joker too? Because we haven't seen him yet in Rebirth.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
So-
Batman Beyond.
Well, yeah.
But,
yeah.
yeah.
I
Not
got
in present time.
present
no.
time.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
So I was just excited to see all of it, and I thought it was great seeing Tim Drake, beating on the door, laughing at
Yeah,
Oz.
same here. Yeah.
So, I loved every bit of it. Can't wait till next week. I love the art, actually. That's my best
Me too.
for all of the comics this week. I think that was my favorite art.
Oh, really? Yeah,
the board.
it was probably my third favorite because there was some contenders this week with artwork. But man, great issue.
Great
Just
issue.
great
Yeah.
issue. I really enjoyed it.
I think the only thing I would change a little bit, and not that I didn't like the cover, I think the cover could have been done a little bit better.
Cool.
The
Yeah.
cover on the comic.
I don't remember the cover on this one. Oh,
It was like
it was
It's
odd.
different, yeah.
I liked how
wasn't bad,
simple
but-
it was, though. I mean,
It felt like a throwback to like an older
it's
style.
very
Yeah,
much a throwback. Yeah. I don't know. Listeners are probably like, these guys don't have any credibility. They're just giving things holy left and right. But no, there are some bad ones in the bunch this week. We're just talking about the good ones first. So, no, this one though, holy crap! It was like a tearjerker for sure. I mean, like not literally tearjerker, but it definitely
cried.
It definitely hit me in the feelers. Did you?
Yeah, but I bumped my knee on the kitchen counter.
You wimp. I mean,
Josh, did you?
if you were really a Superman fan, you would have just broke your counter with your knee
Well,
and
I
then
did
laughed
that
at
too,
it.
but
Just
Why did
use
you
your
think it hurt so bad?
Just use your 3D printer and fix it.
Josh, what did you think of this one?
I liked it. I thought it was really good. Some of the artwork, which this is where I struggle with this one and like Action Comics. Like I really like how Action Comics is drawn and put together. And then when I come back and read these, it seems a little plainer at times, but I mean it's not horrible. But like I thought they did an excellent job still. Like the fiery effect was really cool, and then like just they captured the fear in John's eyes really well. I thought.
See, something about I was just about to talk about John's eyes in a different way, but John,
How they don't look good.
well, no, there's just this one panel where he's drawn and he kind of looks like a girl. And
Yeah.
I
They
feel
do
like
that a
I
lot.
I was
yeah.
going to say,
on
they-
this book, I've had that complaint several times, and it's because he draws them with these like
The bangs.
eyelashes that travel for miles and like long bangs, and he looks.
Are you feeling
like,
confused, Ben?
not confused. I'm a little confused about John's gender, but I mean that's I don't know. I feel like they draw him like an anime girl.
True. Yeah, they do.
But
He's got the Dragon Ball Z here.
Yeah, but I do love the art on this book. I mean, that's okay. It's
Yeah.
just that I feel like their characterizations are maybe a little bit off.
It's very animated movie.
See, the reason why
I can see that, yeah.
that second to last page where he's John's phasing out of existence, and it's his eyes and everything's blue. That's what makes me think
I like that
Clark, or the Cheeto Dust Clark, is actually Dr. Manhattan.
Well, yeah, because that's
Just
the same way
everything's
that people disintegrated in the movie Watchmen.
Exactly,
was,
yeah.
like, into blue light.
This is I don't know if you were here when we were talking about this, but the only counterpoint I have to that, because I was kind of agreeing with Ben after I read through this, and I was like, oh man, very much kind of get that vibe.
Uh-huh.
But the only thing that kind of undoes that theory to me is that Manhattan, from what I have seen, is very, because he's so advanced, right, and he's so evolved. Like it's like he's like the Guardians. He's like moved on from emotion, right?
Right.
And this other Clark Kent is very angry and emotional. You know what I mean? That's like the only reason I don't think it's Manhattan.
But we're kind of seeing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we're kind of seeing that this Clark has got some kind of a mental issue where he's been broken down, and he's slowly speeding back up and becoming himself again, or whatever he thinks he is. So what I'm thinking is maybe Mr. Oz did something to Dr. Manhattan, broke his psyche,
gave him amnesia or something.
Something, and that's why those things are clawed into the side of the wall. If that's at Mars.
So I like that theory. And another thing, are these gravestones on Mars?
That's I didn't even know that was Mars, and I'm still
or
no
if
offense.
it's not.
No offense.
I
don't
didn't either.
I don't think it is, but I could be completely wrong. It has some meaning. Like I'm sure somebody who really knows, like, looked at it and went, "Oh yeah, that's." And
if you're that person, let us know.
I did have them. Well, the thing is, like in DC Universe Rebirth #1, at the very end of the issue, the epilogue or whatever the part after the issue is, it shows that same environment and clock pieces getting put together.
Really?
Yeah. You guys keep talking.
It has like the classic Watchmen panels and a couple of that. And I remember.
Maybe I
seeing
forgot.
those.
I like the writing on the wall. I mean,
literally the writing on the wall.
Exactly. So I wonder if Manhattan just kind of got into his story and then just wanted to become him.
That's what I'm wondering. But
weird.
Yeah,
that's like classic Watchmen right there.
The epilogue of DC Universe Rebirth #1, where he's on Mars with all the clock pieces.
Maybe.
And actually, if you flip one page before, it shows like the planet Mars.
Mm-hmm.
So we're able to determine that is actually Mars. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yep. I'm thinking that. I'm thinking that he is Dr. Manhattan. I think he's Dr. M.
Another thing that I'm noticing is when
So would you say I'm right? I was right.
You're right.
I would say that you are not wrong.
Well, we don't know.
we don't know for fact.
We don't know yet. We don't know who's.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out on
true.
Wednesday. You guys all go out and buy Action Comics next week, though, because it's definitely going to be a good one.
Hey, Mr. Comic Shop Man, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Those lenticular covers, is that what it's called?
Yep.
Were those out this week, or are they coming out coming week?
I think they're coming out next week. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and
because
I
gotta go buy them because got me on the short string.
So another question for you. So the drawings on there, are they big? Because you see Ozymandias like walking, and like I mean, so it had to be a big drawing of Superman.
That's another thing. Was like the person able to float, or were they just a giant? Because Dr.
Or
Manhattan
can they
has
shoot laser beams from their eyes?
Well, Dr. Manhattan has the ability to make himself huge or shrink down really small.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
So
he's the biggest.
So those drawings being high up like that, I think there's something to that.
Yeah,
you would have to be huge to do that. So,
but that would interesting because I didn't know how you guys were coming to that theory, but like after that discussion, it puts a different spin on it. Yeah. So I mean, it could be Manhattan with the broken brain.
Yeah, could be.
I mean,
don't know.
That would be epic, but at the same time, doesn't. I can't speak today. Sorry. Didn't in that comic that you're holding there, the Rebirth, the first one, don't they show that Metron on the moon in his chair, and something just totally evaporates and destroys him.
Well, no, they showed. It wasn't Metron who has the chair,
Yeah.
the all-knowing chair
Yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah, the Mobius chair.
Yeah, the Mobius chair. So yes, it was him on the moon. It was at the end of Apocalypse War, I believe. At
Yeah,
the New
you're right,
52. They were on the moon, and they see this bright glowing light, and they're like, who is it? And the chair starts going ping, 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 and like he's like, oh no, not him. Next thing you see is the Mobius chair sitting there with blood dripping all over it and a blue glow around it. That was Dr. Manhattan approaching them and exploding them, from what I thought, or someone using similar technology to
Sure.
Dr. Manhattan's.
And that's why I'm kind of thinking that maybe that was the trip from Mars to Earth, and he just passed by and saw Metron and just, in his craziness, killed him.
Yep.
I don't know. It's great because you know what? We're all talking about it.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
all invested, and we can't wait.
Yeah.
Just-
It's. I'm
It's a
wondering-
good slow roll. Good job, guys.
Yeah,
Good job.
yeah, great job, Jeff Johns, on that one. I am wondering if we are going to get like one issue at some point where they just lay it all out and say, "Here's what happened: DC Universe Rebirth #2. This is what happened," or if it's going to be little bits and pieces in the Button in Action Comics and stuff like that. I don't know if they're going to give us that like all.
I kind of hope that they lay it out, but not.
I
They
do
don't have to
too.
do it all the way, but like give us like a good, meat and potatoes portion, or a small portion of meat and potatoes.
Well, that's also going to be
for it.
hard
So-
for people who aren't buying all the books. What happens
Sure.
if someone's reading Batman but they aren't buying Action Comics and they're not
Right.
going to know what
And
happened?
something's wrong with them.
Yeah. I mean, you should be buying all of them, but if you can or don't have time to, like most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So we've only seen like pieces that kind of point in the direction of like 2 of the Watchmen characters, right?
Where
Like-
are the others?
Yeah. Where
3.
are the others?
3.
And how do you think? Oh, Saturn Girl or
No.
no?
No, she's not a Watchman.
Rorschach. We're thinking at the end of
Yeah,
Outlaws.
Ariel pointed that out because
Yeah.
someone was like making like a serial killer wall. They had like photos with
Right,
strings
right,
on
right,
them, and
right.
they were taking photos like of Clark. Was it right?
I have photos on my wall with string around it. I'm not a serial killer.
Well,
Anyway,
Not that we
follow
know
up
of.
Those
question.
Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Follow up question.
No, just kidding.
So, with that being said, though, like, do you think they're gonna slow roll introduce like all the characters like this, or do you think this is like the main
I mean, I think
build
the
up reveal, and then they'll kind of just kind of bring everybody else in?
Well, the comedian's going to get introduced in the Button. I mean, that Button is there, and that's his Button. So I think he's.
That's
gonna
true.
Be
That
in
is
the,
his
I
Button,
think
isn't
he's
it?
going
That
to
is
be
his
in the
Button.
Button story.
Sweet.
Cool. So,
That was just
all right.
something I was thinking about. I was just curious.
No,
What you guys
no, good
thought.
talk though. Let's move things on here. Josh, your choice. Which one of yours do you want to cover?
Which ones did you have, Josh?
What do you guys want me to do? Justice League or Nightwing?
Nightwing.
Nightwing.
Nightwing. Save the best for last. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, you're funny.
You guys can just turn the show off after the break.
You saved me for the end, and I'm gonna do that one when the credits are rolling. So
Yeah.
all right, we got Nightwing number 16. Nightwing Must Die Part 1, and I didn't even write down the creative team on this. Can someone
I
grab
got
that
you.
for me?
Yeah,
while
I'll
I
get
get
it.
going
Tim
here?
Seeley and
Seeley, Fernandez, and Sotomayor.
All right, thank you guys.
Sweet.
the
So
name that nobody can say.
Nightwing and Sean are hanging upside down, making out in a completely unrealistic way before he has to go stop some bad guys. And I mean, it's like physics defying if you check it out. I mean, Nightwing's hanging, I think, by one leg on this pole, and she's just not even hanging on the pole. She's just hanging on him.
Good thing it's drawn and not real
So
life, huh?
either that or he's just got really powerful legs that just the drawing doesn't do him justice. He probably has like runner's thighs, you know what I mean? Anyways,
I could do that.
moving on.
Or acrobat styles.
Anyways, moving on. So Damian is chilling at the Teen Titans Tower, surfing Chirper, which is DC's Twitter, and seeing all the hashtag Dick was a better Robin than you were tweets. He turns to the Titans and asks who they think should take the Batmantle should he retire. They also say Nightwing, hashtag burn. Damian, in a rage, heads to Bloodhaven to confront Nightwing. After Nightwing defeats the Four Horsemen, Damian shows up, and Dick is happy to see him. Damian quickly begins taking jabs at Nightwing, still butthurt over everyone thinking Nightwing is better. So it's kind of hilarious because Nightwing's just trying to chat and be friendly and, oh, hey, what are you doing here? And good to see you, and blah, blah, blah. And Damian's just like, you know, how are you going to take over the Batmantle if you're doing this and that, blah, blah, blah. And he's just taking jabs at him. It's kind of funny. So Nightwing finds out his girl Sean may be preggo, and quickly lets Damian know he is not in the mood. So he like pretty much quickly snaps because I think he's listening to a voicemail at one point, and Damian's like, "All right, Grayson, it's time to talk to me." And he puts his hand on his shoulder and tries to turn him like, give me your attention. And Nightwing's just like flips him over his shoulder and like, dude, I am not in the mood to deal with a Robin meltdown from a 13-year-old raging with hormones. So get out of my face. I got something to do. So Nightwing heads to Sean's apartment to discover she is missing. Damian finds the pregnancy test and pieces it all together. The two team up to go find her. Final page shows us that the red Nightwing is actually Deathwing, and he's going after Nightwing. So next issue is Buried Alive.
Can you say Nightwing one more time in that sentence?
Nightwing, 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 Nightwing.
Gotcha. Thanks.
In case you missed it, Nightwing. So I didn't know to go with Nightwing, go with Dick, go with Grayson. I mean, we seem to have trouble with his first name, so I tried to keep it at Nightwing. So, anyways, I thought it was pretty good. I haven't, as you guys know, I haven't read a lot of these books, but I mean, this wasn't a bad read. I mean, it kind of had a pretty decent flow to it. Was a little wordy, but it kind of had that relatable feel to it, to just, if you find out your girlfriend's late and she may be pregnant, and then it's like all of a sudden, like, responsibilities, like different responsibilities come flying at you and get in your head and stuff, and then when you find out she's missing, it's like stuff like that. It was a pretty good read, and then just watching the dynamic between Damian and Grayson was pretty cool. Like, Damian was just so angry and butthurt at first because he's the heir to the Bat Throne, but as soon as he realizes something's up, and that all of a sudden this was like a bigger issue, it's like he was kind of there to help him out.
Yeah.
And Nightwing didn't even want him to go with him, but Damian's like, look, you're all flustered right now. You're not focused. This is when you need a Robin at your side and kind of doing the Robin thing. I thought that was pretty cool how Damian just no questions asked. He's just like, I'm going with you.
And they brought their Batmobile together.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So that was
really?
pretty, yeah.
That's cool.
He brought the old Batmobile that I think Grayson and Batman rode around in, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they took off together.
It was Grayson and Damian.
Yeah.
It's their Batmobile
Yeah.
from when where Dick Grayson was Batman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it was. I thought it was a pretty good read. I mean, it wasn't anything too over the top. I gave it a blessing. Like I didn't hate it. But it wasn't anything that was like spectacular. We did get a full look at Deathwing, which is a new villain. I mean, has he been around before ever?
Never heard of him.
I've never heard of him either.
Yep.
So he basically looks just like Nightwing, except he's got red. Like he's got a red
Long hair.
mask, and he's got long hair, and he's got the red Nightwing logo across his chest. So
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty good, so I gave it a blessing.
Nice. Did anyone else read this
Yeah, well, just before everything.
before the show?
Yeah.
What's your rating?
I agree. I agree with Blessing, and I'm a huge Nightwing fan too. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with turning Dick Grayson into the dad type.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's always kind of seemed more like the DC player,
Yeah, maybe.
but maybe
Yeah, I don't know. He's always changing is the cool thing about him,
Exactly.
though. So, like, seeing him become a parent would be really cool because,
Yeah.
like, that's another growing up stage. That, like, you've seen this guy since he was a little boy, and you're now seeing him grow up and have a family. That would be pretty cool, I think.
I mean, that would make Batman almost like a grandpa.
grandfather. Yeah.
And you get that,
Grandpa Batman here.
yeah.
and you get that feel.
Back in my day,
You
I
could
had a
have
climbability.
you could have an old man Batman story, just like the
like
old
in
man,
Batman Beyond.
old man Logan.
Old
you
Man
know,
Logan, yeah.
But yeah, you definitely get that growth feel from like him processing everything in his
Yeah.
head, all that inner dialogue. So it's like it was cool to see that growth because, yeah, like Nightwing's like a grown man. He's not Robin anymore. You know what I mean? He's definitely
Right.
come into his own. So it was kind of cool to see that. But
Cool.
yeah,
All right. Well, we are gonna go to break and.
we'll be right back.
Thank you, Josh. We'll be right
A little
back.
delayed reaction, but we got it.
All right. right, and what do we say, Josh?
And we're back.
And I used the Glitch Therapy intro because that was the only song I could find. So
8-bit for the win.
Yep. Yeah, and I built that song too. So
That's
fun.
awesome.
That's good.
I kind of
Fun
want that
fact.
as my song when I walk into work every morning or something.
Oh yeah.
My theme song, my own personal.
Power up. Yeah.
So all morning, I've been getting a song on my iPhone when I walk into the house, saying it's my entrance music. I've been doing like a bunch of Star Wars stuff, and
Nice.
my
Nice.
wife is making fun of me.
Nice.
The girls think it's really funny though.
All right, so we are going to jump back into Death of Hawkman number 6, story by Mark Andreyko, art by Aaron Lepresti, John Livesay, and Blonde. So we get a final epic battle between Hawkman, Adam Strange, Despero, and the rest of the supporting cast in the conclusion to Death of the Hawkman miniseries, or the Death of Hawkman miniseries. So Hawkman and Despero battle it out while Adam Strange tries to destroy Despero's Zeta portal. There are some hijinks that ensue with the Green Lantern Thanagarian, but eventually they manage to destroy the Zeta portal, taking Hawkman, Despero, and Adam Strange with it. Hawkman dies in a blaze of glory, and a few months later, Ron and Thanagar are at peace with each other. The end of the book shows us that the only one of these three dudes that actually died is Hawkman. Adam Strange is lost in what looks like some kind of weird dimension, and Hawkman's death was totally in vain because Despero is definitely alive, kicking, and floating around in space somewhere. So, and it says, not, the end of it says, not over, not the end, not even close, or something like that. So, the book was alright, the story arc was even alright. It definitely started really strong with a great first issue, but there were so many points where the series jumped around in the timeline, which kind of made it hard to read. Because the writer didn't properly label the time periods we were in. They didn't say then or now, or even if they did, they wrote it really small.
Right.
The art was fantastic in this issue, but there were a lot of points in the story arc where the artist would switch off, and it kind of made the whole, as a whole, it was inconsistent for me. Hawkman's death was really kind of just like this secondary thing that was like, it wasn't even what the issue was about in the end. Despero is alive at the end, which I'm sure is kind of a setup for a future story arc, but that shouldn't have been what this was about. If this book is titled Death of Hawkman, it should have been about the death of Hawkman, and it wasn't really centered around that, you know. Overall, I had some gripes about it, but I think it was still enjoyable. Definitely not one for the history books, I don't think, but still have to give it my blessing. One other thing to note, the variant cover on this issue was gorgeous, man. The one with like the helmet, I don't know if it was the variant or the actual cover. Yeah, that one. It's like the helmet with a half skull. I think it was done by Bill Sienkiewicz, but it was just
Very cool.
Beautiful. Did anyone else read this one?
I did.
What did you think?
I thought it was pretty good. There's a couple things that kind of stood out. I didn't realize the Thanagarian Green Lantern wasn't permanent. Like I thought the lantern that he got the ring from died, so I thought he was a new lantern, but you find out he's just temporary, so I was kind of like bummed about that. Because I was like, man, we finally had a Thanagarian Green Lantern. I thought it was pretty cool, but there's a couple things that kind of stood out to me. Like I really liked the art when Hawkman died, because it's like he drained his life force to stop him. I thought that was pretty cool, and he shot that golden sword blade beam of right through Despero's head.
Super epic, yeah.
Like that was epic. And one thing I kind of took away that I was kind of curious about is if Hawkman achieved separating Despero from the nth metal, because at the end he's no longer merged with it. So that was like one positive I thought I saw, but from the way Despero reformed, it looked like it was still nth metal. But I mean, at the end, he's just standing there naked.
Yeah,
red,
he's
so.
just big red naked dude. Yeah,
But I mean, I'm with you though. Like through the whole series, I struggle with the jumping around, especially when they don't label the time frames. That was something I really struggled with on this issue, and I'm just kind of curious to see if we're going to see any more Adam Strange and stuff. You know what I mean?
Adam Strange is apparently doing a crossover with that Hanna-Barbera story, Future Quest.
Really?
Yes.
So
that's
he's
in some
where
weird,
he's getting shot into.
Yeah,
maybe?
he's in
Is
some
there
weird
dimension?
alternate timeline right now, and he's probably going to just plop right down into the Future Quest.
I might
world.
have to pick up on that then, because I didn't even realize what Future Quest was about until I finally saw the cover, and I'm like, dude, this is another nostalgia read for me. So I need to
definitely.
get into it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was fun. I just don't think that it was what it should have been.
I'm with you.
I'm with you too. And you know what, Despero, put on some pants, okay?
Right.
Well, yeah, I don't know. He's out in the middle of space. I don't know if he has any pants. He's pulling a Bane on us. He's
Right.
just walking around naked. So, all right, cool. Well, we will go ahead and move things along.
What did you rate it?
A blessing.
Blessing, okay.
Yeah, blessing for the book, blessing for the story arc. I think it was a good story arc. I think if you like Hawkman and you want to learn a little bit about that character, it's definitely probably something you should pick up. It's a fun read, but it's definitely not my favorite by any means. So yeah,
cool.
So blessing. So let's talk about another weird spin-off. Travis.
We want to talk about the fall and rise of Captain Atom.
Yes.
Is that what we're going to go with? Okay, cool. This is number 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes. 3.
Yep.
Okay, so Nathan has arrived back in 2017, but with a new look. That's right, Captain Atom's got his groove back. He reconnects with his support group to find out what happened to him. The group has been monitoring him during his, what I'm going to call the time safari, because it's back and forth, gets different change of clothes, the whole 9 yards. He had a kid, and, oh, wait, spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Ruined it.
Hey-o. The General Elling, I think it is, offers a solution to his epic fallout when he first time jumped. So
Can we just say Amanda Waller 2.0?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, really, that's what it is. It's the dude version of Waller. Yeah, no.
I didn't think about that.
When he did his first time jump, it's because he exploded, basically, and he just wiped out a whole area of, I think it was Kansas or something like that, and it evidently killed a couple of people, and everybody was looking at it, and the reporters were looking at it as, this guy is unstable, we can't trust him, he's not really a hero, and so the general says, this is what we're going to do. We're going to rebrand you. We're going to make you Captain Atom 2.0. Going to give you a new name, going to set you up with a new apartment and a new town, the whole 9 yards. And the cool thing about his whole rebranding and his new powers are he can actually switch back and forth from his nuclear powers to actually being just a person.
Mm-hmm. Human form.
Exactly. Adam starts exploring his modified powers with the team and but begrudgingly accepts the rebranding offer that the general offered him. He didn't want to accept it because he still wanted to be his own person. He still wanted to be the superhero that he was. But hey, times, they are a-changing, my friend.
They are. That's what I've heard from the kids.
The kids these days.
Times are changing.
We end our story with Nathan in a human form sitting in his apartment mourning the loss of his wife. He basically doesn't know why life is worth living without a loved one in it when a knock at the door results in an iPad that was just left there. It says, "Turn me on." And he picks it up, turns it on, and there's a picture of a 17-year-old boy on it. And that's we find out Nathan has a son. He now has a reason to live, and
he also has an anonymous friend.
Anonymous friend, exactly. It's pretty interesting. Art was interesting. I liked the whole training montage scene that lasted a couple of pages. It wasn't an epic story, but it was fun. I'm just going to give it a blessing myself.
What was this the end of the story arc?
No.
Okay, I was going to say
this is
3 of 6.
3 of 6.
Okay, cool.
So
yeah, I didn't read this one yet, so I need to. I wasn't in the right mind state to read it this morning because I was exhausted, and it's really one that you have to give your full attention to.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I read it this morning myself because I had the same thing. I was like, I need to really focus on this because otherwise I'll be so confused. And
definitely not one for Saturday morning cereal type thing.
Nope.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, it's been fun for me so far, though, and from what you described, it's an interesting read. Do you think there's going to be any connections to the overarching Rebirth story? I mean, there has to be.
I have no clue. I hope so.
I mean, Captain Atom and Dr. Manhattan are just almost identical characters.
They've kind of dialed down his power set, though.
His powers are completely different
now.
Yeah,
he can't travel into space anymore.
He's stable. He's completely stable. His body's not always reorganizing his molecules and stuff like he was before.
Yeah.
So he's quite a bit different.
So you could almost say that Captain Atom has fallen, which means that he will soon rise again.
So
I see what you did there.
Do you guys think they dialed down his powers just because they don't want him as powerful as Dr. Manhattan. Because, I mean, Dr. Manhattan was based on him.
What? Oh, historically it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Well, I didn't know
I didn't know that either.
I swear that I swear I heard that on like Geek History Lesson.
Did you read that on the internet? Because everything on the internet's true.
No, I listened to it.
I've also heard that from the kids.
It's on the internet. It's true.
Because
Believe
like
they
Blue
call that
Beetle,
throwing shade.
Yeah.
Blue Beetle, Captain Atom, and I think there was like one more that people were actually based on that ended up being the Watchmen.
Ariel the
Interesting.
Oracle. Can you Google that? Was Captain Atom based on Dr. Manhattan?
Oh no, it was
historically?
Dr. Manhattan based on Captain
Or
Atom.
vice versa, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let you know here in a
All
sec.
right, and if I'm wrong, no, so I'm sure somebody will tell me.
Yeah, I'm interested just to know one way or the other. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, let's move things along here to the man with the quiver and bow.
Awesome. This is
Not you, Brad. Green Arrow. That's who I'm talking about.
yeah. I'm gonna work on my handlebar mustache. I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, actually, that's a lie. My wife won't let me.
Real quick though, I did notice an art flaw on this issue. So remind me, and I'll point it out to you at the end.
Okay.
Cool.
Sure.
So Green Arrow, written by Benjamin Percy, art by Eleonora Carlini. I got a really quick recap for you.
Brad was right, by the way. Yeah.
Awesome,
Yes,
that a
hey!
boy, Brad.
There you go.
Dr. Manhattan was based off of Captain Atom.
Where'd you find that, Ariel,
Yeah.
on the internet? Oh, it's true. It's all true.
Yeah.
No, I remember something from Geek History Lesson. That's where I learned
Sure.
it from. Where they were
Okay.
talking about like
They don't make stuff up on that
Well,
show.
they're the guy who wrote Watchmen wanted to use 4 characters to do it, but for some reason he ended up not being able
Yeah,
to.
Blue Beetle was one of them, and that was where the
Owlman or whatever, yeah.
He was more based on Blue Beetle than Batman?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, because his ship
And the
was
ship.
actually like shaped like
Ship, I forgot
yeah.
about
Yeah.
the show.
Archimedes.
Wow, yeah.
yeah.
So
Cool.
Yeah, pretty cool, right?
Cool.
yeah. So.
All right.
And anyway, so this is more about Roy than it is about Oliver. This issue, pretty much quick. It was Oliver meets Roy. Roy becomes Speedy. Speedy is helping the Indians stop the pipeline from being built.
Who's building the pipeline?
Queen Industries.
Interesting.
Right.
Oh, and also the Wild Mad Dogs.
Well, the wild dog.
Wild-
there's
wild
an army
dogs,
of
yeah.
wild dogs.
That
they
threw me, too.
That was pretty awesome.
I was like,
I have to give
whoa.
him, I have to give him some props there. So there's an army of the Green Arrow and Roy Harper, or Arsenal or Speedy, whatever you want to call
Yep.
them. They're up against the Wild Dog Army, which is pretty cool. And Green Arrow came in on a horse as well. Pretty awesome.
Yep.
So Arrow tries to help him out, but Roy realizes that Queen Industries is building the pipeline and ends up punching him out.
Another interesting mirrored reflection of reality to an extent. Like with things going on in
yeah.
current events and stuff.
Hey,
yeah.
we don't talk politics on this show or religion.
I wasn't
Now
talking
back
politics
to
or
Nerd
religion.
Church Radio. Oh, I don't.
No,
I was
but
talking current events.
I am saying like, yeah, not giving an opinion on the issue or
Yeah.
anything, but
Yeah.
Percy does make his opinion pretty apparent when he writes, and like. You think about when he wrote this; it was like 6 months ago, too.
Yeah.
You probably roughly. So you know it's interesting to think about like, oh, where was society when this happened, and was Percy
Yeah.
writing about that or whatever? So
And it's kind of nice that it ties back into, current and real events.
well, the pipeline and that
Yeah.
6
Yeah.
months ago that was kind of a big deal, and
Yeah.
it's kind of died down since then. But it's interesting that those two things kind of lined up.
So I mean, I want to see a group come out of all of the big superheroes that aren't really doing anything with Justice League of America. I want to see Green Arrow. I want to see Captain Atom I want to see another group. So
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Batman's organizing a lot of them, but I mean, it's interesting because Arsenal is involved in Titans right now. He has his own group, so
yeah.
I wonder where in the timeline this is happening in comparison with Titans. It'll be interesting
Yeah.
to see if they drop any hints on that. Man, does it feel like they've finished the Emerald Archer story arc?
I thought so. I was like, is this just kind of more of like a one-off, or are they going to do something with
And it's-
Roy and Green Arrow for a little bit or something?
I feel like Percy has done this a couple times where it's been like he'll be telling a story, and I don't feel like he fully concluded it, and then before I know it, I'm getting a new issue, and it's a new story arc, and I'm like, wait, what? Where did that end without me realizing it? And
Well,
that's my
super
only
confusing.
that's my only constructive criticism of his writing is like he doesn't conclude things very well.
Well, and at the end of the last issue was Roy Harper there, or I believe it wasn't it? I don't know. I was dealing with a lot of sick people at my house, so but anyway.
And maybe I'm off base by saying that about him because I do love his writing. He's one of my favorite writers in DC Rebirth, but I do feel like there are times when it's like, what? Hold on, what happened with? Because in the last issue, Diggle carried.
Malcolm.
Merlin.
Diggle carried Malcolm away. And I guess that was a conclusion, maybe, but we kind of started off on a brand new thing here, so I don't know. Maybe this is just his way of bringing Arsenal into that story arc or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
Could be.
I don't know.
Maybe Oliver's finding him, bringing him in for help, maybe, and he's like, maybe I need to help Roy first.
Yeah,
well,
maybe
this is just
or
getting
maybe Oliver is wanting to get back at Queen
Industries,
Queen, and take his company back, and is going to have Roy help.
He doesn't
him
even
with
own it right now, does he?
Right. Well, because they think he's dead.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe that's kind of been the whole overarching story throughout all of Green Arrow Rebirth. Is, I mean, he doesn't have his fortune.
Right.
I mean, he's living in the Sherwood Forest area of
Sherwood Forest
of Washington. I did like the whole Spokane Indian thing because I lived in Spokane. I'm like, okay, I'm a Green Arrow fan. They're talking about Spokane.
Nice.
I live in Spokane. All right.
Wasn't there something with the book about Robin Hood, or was that something else?
No, that was in Nightwing.
Oh, that was in Nightwing.
That was in Nightwing where they talked about it. I was like, oh, Nightwing and Green Arrow?
All right, everyone, we just paused because I got a text notification that the Deadpool 2 trailer dropped, which is actually just a short Deadpool funny film that played in front of
Check it
Logan,
out,
but
peeps.
Yeah, it's very funny. You guys have probably already seen it if you're listening to it, but we love Deadpool. I think we all love Deadpool. Yeah. So, all right, cool. But getting back to DC now, because that's what this show is about, we are going to move things on to our final. What did you rate Green Arrow, by the way, Brad?
Holy.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree with you. All right,
the art. I will say one thing: the art wasn't the best.
It was different.
It was definitely
different.
not as good as the previous art on the previous issues.
Right. And I feel like there's been a few different artists throughout the Green Arrow, but yeah, I mean, I still love the story.
Yeah,
Josh, did you say that there was an art thing you were going to point out?
Oh yeah. I can't remember where it is, but it's like at some point when Arsenal and Green Arrow are working together, and it's just one panel, but they're wearing their quiver or whatever, and as they like get shot or falling or something, it's like the quiver's gone, and then like the next panel they're hanging on the ground and the quiver's there again. So it's like, hey, I noticed an art flaw. Woo!
style sheets.
But I have a random question before I get into this next one. So kind of back to Death of Hawkman stuff. So have we seen Hawkgirl like at all, or
Nope.
any mention of
Not yet.
Hawkgirl?
Nope.
Is there any talk of Hawkgirl?
Nope.
Is she going to happen?
She will happen eventually. Yes.
You think so?
Yep.
What other superheroes have we not seen?
Martian Manhunter.
Oh yeah, Martian Manhunter we haven't seen.
There's a lot, man. There's more that we haven't seen than who we have seen actually, because it hasn't been going on very long.
Yeah.
So like they just haven't
gonna take
covered
some
that much
time
ground. Yeah,
to build.
And there's Shazam. We haven't seen Shazam.
Oh, that's true.
And I
Nice
think
Shazam,
he's
yeah.
actually on the cover of DC Universe Rebirth #1, isn't he? Is he not?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, and we haven't seen him. I think he's going to play a big part in all this because he'll probably help save the day from Dr. Manhattan and whatever ends up happening.
You think they're going to go back to the one kid, or are they going to? Do you think they'll stick with like the 5 kids?
The one kid. Yeah,
No, the one kid. The 5 kids was an alternate Earth thing, right?
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Was it?
okay.
Yeah. That was in Flashpoint when they were in the alternate Earth. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
They were the
You're right,
Shazam
you're right.
kids. Yeah.
You're right.
I did like that though.
Yeah.
That was one of the most brutal things I've ever seen Wonder Woman do.
that was
But I'm
rough,
sorry,
yeah.
but 5 kids could not agree on anything,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
put them in,
that's-
give them all super.
Yeah, that's true. No, we shouldn't.
But
say
they were kind of
Shazam.
like the equivalent of Voltron. Is that what it was? Voltron, the 5 tigers that would
yeah.
combine
But
into
they
one big
they were
beast.
young too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, our final book is going to be Justice League number 16, Timeless Part 2, by Brian Hitch, Fernando Pasarin, Matt Ryan, and Brad Anderson.
Timeless.
So let's just say the confusion continues from last issue. Batman and Superman find out that history is being rewritten and the world is changing from some weirdos in the tower who are talking to some stones. So the other leaguers are spread across time from 47,000 years ago to the 30th century. They are informed of the time bombs in each time frame and how to destroy them. So Bats and Soups get explained the amount of time and history that's being changed, and Soups is getting super peeved. He doesn't know what happened to John or Lois. So Superman flies off to one of the disturbances and finds a giant baby hooked into a machine that tells Soups, I am always, I am everywhere. It's time for us to save history. And then on the next issue, time is ... doomed.
So was the baby the one that broke free from the tower?
Dude, I don't even know. Like, this thing's so out there. Like, these whole timeless things feel like... I mean, I felt at first that they were tying into everything that's going on, but then I'm starting to feel like this is something completely off course of everything else.
Yep.
Really. Because, like I said, this is like, now we have John and Lois disappearing.
Yep.
Similar kind of way with just the light and everything wiping away, but it's like, that's what I was talking about earlier when we were kind of talking, like, this just seems like it's completely out of place compared to, like, a lot of the other books are kind of tying in together. This one just feels like it's all on its own, you know?
Yeah.
It kind of went into only a couple of the leaguers. Like, I thought it was kind of cool how Aquaman's in, like, 47,000 years ago, like, Atlantis. I thought it was kind of cool. It's like dry Atlantis and stuff, but, like, they question who he is and whatnot, and he tells them that he's like the king from his time, and they cast some magic on him, and it just doesn't burn him or not. And I thought that was kind of cool. But like Wonder Woman's at the time of the Olympians, and you don't really see much about it. Barry's at the time the Speed Force was created. They don't really go into much what's going on with him yet. Same with Cyborg being in like the 30th century with some half human, half Martian or something or another. But like where he's at in time, it's like other world beings have taken over Earth, essentially. It's just getting really out there, and it's just really confusing. And I don't know. One thing that was kind of weird to me was like they got Batman and Superman into that tower. That way they're protected from whatever's going on. But then it's like Superman all of a sudden just like flies off, and it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? It was just really weird. The art was kind of meh. I mean, I'm not a fan of how they're drawing Superman in this. I'm not a fan of how they're drawing a lot of the heroes. But
is it
like,
a different Superman?
I don't know if it's a different Superman, but he looks weird.
Yeah,
It's just a more badly drawn Superman.
I'd much prefer, like I said, I think the art style for Superman that's my favorite right now is like the Action Comics. I just like what they're doing with it.
Right.
But yeah, still confused as to what's going on. It wasn't god awful, but it definitely still needs some more explaining. We need some more details. I'm really hoping that they start to tie this into somewhat of a sensible story. Right now, it's just kind of like a sci-fi nightmare that you get pieces of. You know what I mean?
That you're waiting to wake up from.
Yeah, it just feels really weird. And I don't know, like the weirdos in the tower, they can't be from our Earth or this current Earth or whatever, because they even make a reference at some point that, you know, they're starting to trust us. We need to tell them. And one dude's like, no, we're not going to tell them. That chick that's talking through them through their watches that she gave them. It's like there's really, she's like the guardian of something or another, but there hasn't been really much explanation about her. She looks like a human, but she's not a human. She's seen like millions of years pass on Earth and stuff. So it's just, they're just leaving out a lot of details. I think we need to kind of piece this together. And then the giant baby at the end, like, I don't get it. It was just weird. I don't get it.
I was wondering if that girl was Pandora, but I don't know.
I mean, she could be, but I don't
like
know where
I said,
she'd get that.
who
She
knows?
has no scars on her face.
I don't know. Like,
Pandora, you know?
I'm reaching at straws.
Yeah, so
Boy, you really opened a box there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Dora's box.
Oh,
I got it.
we almost went this whole show without a pun.
Right?
What's wrong with you? You feeling okay?
I don't
today?
know. I'm a little off here.
There's a couple earlier.
So I looked at the giant baby thing, and I don't know. First, I thought, well, maybe that's Brainiac because we haven't seen him yet.
Is Brainiac a baby?
See, I was wondering that too because he was on the cover.
The only place we've seen Brainiac is Power Rangers Justice League, which is that's not.
But then the font and font color is the same as Convergence. What's the guy's name? Telos. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with that.
Well, I mean,
That's not Brainiac on the cover, is it? Those are the Timeless guys, I thought.
oh,
I,
These
I
are-
honestly don't
Yeah.
know.
These
Yeah.
were, well, the last issue, these guys were the
Yeah.
ones grabbing all the Supermen.
Yeah.
Or was it last issue, or was it one of the Superman?
okay.
It
2
was-
issues ago.
yeah,
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, these were the guys that were, like, kidnapping all the Supermans across time, I thought.
Cool.
Maybe. But maybe they are Brainiac. I mean, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know enough about Brainiac to say one way or the other.
Sure.
I think that looks similar to Brainiac, but I don't know.
He needs
It's
to
hard
be
to
in
tell.
Rebirth somewhere, though.
But overall, as far as rating-wise, I mean, I had to throw this back into Purgatory. Or leave it in Purgatory. I mean, I don't know. It seems like it's been there quite a bit with this issue, so...
So, yeah, I'm looking at comic sales right now, numbers. That's what I've been looking at. And Justice League, it looks like, is at 72.5 thousand for the month. And I think this is right for the month of January. That is number 10. Marvel, DC, all comics. Looks like above that is
that Justice League Power Rangers? I see above
Justice
that?
League Suicide Squad, Justice League Power Rangers, and All Star Batman are above it. Batman is a number 2 with 106,000 units sold, or 106.8. So yeah, Justice League is still ranking in the top 10 titles. Marvel, DC, Image, everything. Looks like.
Dang.
So.
crazy.
That's Justice League. Yeah,
Are we
I
just
think-
missing something when we go through these guys?
Yeah.
Justice League? That's issue number 12. What issue is this?
This was number 16.
Yeah, okay, so that was 12. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to me that sales like this are. I mean,
But you think 2 months ago was Justice League versus Suicide Squad, wasn't it?
yeah. So Justice League 12, was that a tie-in? Yeah, because the next Justice League issue is like way down. I mean, I don't even see it yet. I'm at like 70. So yeah, it's sales are down for it though. So I'm hoping that they get back up there. But anyway, all right, cool. Well, that's about all we have for you guys, I guess.
Book of the week.
Book of the week is between Green Lanterns and Batman. I think Travis and Brad, you guys were on Green Lanterns. Josh and I were on Batman. So
Yep.
that is our books of the week. Definitely go out and buy those.
Awesome.
I think both of them are actually books that you could pick up as a new reader and get into.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
Green Lanterns might be tough if you're a whole new reader just starting with comic books.
Speaking of spending cash, we'd love it if you stopped by our
Patreon
page.
www.patreon.com/nerdchurchradio. Thank you for that, Travis.
Yep.
And Sweet Seg.
Yeah.
And,
Sweet say.
yeah, there you can get access to exclusive content that we put out. There is not going to be one this week, but there will be one next week. Sunday School, where we cover a particular comic book character that was in the books that week. Maybe we can do Dr. Manhattan next week. That sounds
Ooh,
fun.
that's a-
yeah.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
Hopefully
Yeah,
our
let's-
theory holds true so we can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's
Yeah.
find out first
We'll have
or
some
what's going on.
We'll have some answers for you next
Yeah.
week, too. So, yeah, we'll cover Dr. Manhattan on Sunday School next week. Do go by Mayhem Comics in Des Moines and Ames if you're shopping for comics in the Des Moines metro area. That's a great place to go buy
Good
comics.
people, too. Good people.
Good
Very
people.
helpful.
Yep. One of the smartest comic book fans in Des Moines works there, I hear. But
Who would that be?
Legends, that's all
Legends?
I've heard. Yeah, just legends and
Legends.
myths of such
The
as
man, the
that
legend.
Wow.
Jeez.
I just
Shameless
started,
plug.
I just started working at Mayhem. Sorry, guys. My wife's not here. Give me an evil eye. Okay, so speaking of my wife, Ariel, the Oracle, writes tons of reviews for us, along with Carl Hamlin and Brandon Reed. So check out our website, nerdchurchradio.com. We have lots of awesome reviews there. We're on social media, Nerd Church Radio everywhere, sharing all sorts of DC comic book related news and things. I also co-host an indie comics podcast called Indie Comic Ninja. You can find me on Twitter at IndieComicBen. And then we have another sister podcast called Glitch Therapy, which a friend of ours runs, and he talks about video games on that podcast, so it's a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. We got something for everyone. Josh, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Facefur. That's FACEFURRR.
Travis?
I'm also on Twitter at TritonTR. That's TRITONTR.
And Brad.
I'm also on the Twitter as well at Bradley_Butin.
That's BUTIN. And with that, I will say peace be with you.
And also with you.
Peace out, planet Earth.
Next week, we'll be back to spoil all your comics.
You mean Stephanie Brown?
Oh, Stephanie.
We're going to Stephanie Brown it up.
Stephanie Brown it.